Good evening, y'all, and welcome back for episode 9 of Bloodshed and Breadcrumbs. We're getting down to the final 2 episodes of this season. Tonight's episode is yet another heartbreaking tale of murder and the search for justice for the victim. Christa Pike was born in 1976 in West Virginia, and honestly, her childhood was anything but easy. She was raised by her grandmother, a deeply religious woman, but that didn't mean Christa was safe. One of her grandmother's friends, a man named Ernest, started abusing her when she was still in diapers, like literally a baby. It's horrifying to even think about. When Christa was 12, her grandmother passed away. That loss hit her hard, and not long after, she tried to take her own life for the first time. She started self-harming, probably as a way to cope with the grief and the trauma she'd already been carrying for years. After that, she moved in with her mom, and things just spiraled. Their relationship was strained, to say the least. Her mom was a heavy drinker, and while she did try to get Christa help for her mental health, the doctor she took her to, they didn't do much. On top of that, her mom had a revolving door of boyfriends, one of whom was physically abusive to Christa. He even made this twisted weapon with a wooden handle and a leather strap and hung it on the wall of her bedroom, like some kind of sick warning. It's hard to wrap your head around how someone could do that to a kid. Eventually, Christa dropped out of high school. But when she turned 18, she enrolled in Job Corps at the University of Tennessee's Knoxville campus. And if you're not familiar, Job Corps is a government program that helps low-income youth learn job skills. Christa signed up to study nursing. And that's where she met Colleen Slemmer. They weren't close, definitely not friends, but they were in the same program. Christa also had a boyfriend there named Daryl Ship, and the two of them had started dabbling in the occult. Somewhere along the way, Christa got in her head that Colleen was trying to steal Daryl from her. And to be fair, Daryl did spend some time with Colleen, especially during a holiday break when Christa went home and he stayed behind. He never admitted anything, but Christa had her suspicions, and those suspicions turned into a plan for revenge. She pretended to be friendly with Colleen, even offered to share some weed that she said she had stashed in the woods near campus. Colleen trusted her enough to go along with it, but the night before they headed out, Christa told her friend she was feeling mean and that she planned to kill Colleen. Daryl wasn't subtle either. He told another student he needed to make a human sacrifice because the celestial bodies were aligned. Like what? The wildest part? People heard these warnings. They were told, but nobody stepped in. No one called the police, and no one stopped what was coming. So it was around 8 p.m. on Thursday, January 12, 1995, when Christa Pike, Daryl Ship, Colleen Slemmer, and another student named Shadola Peterson signed out of their dorms. They said they were heading out to Tyson Park, just a short walk from the campus. But this wasn't some casual hangout. Christa and Daryl had a plan, and Colleen had no idea what she was walking into. They told her they were going to smoke some weed. That's how they got her to come. But once they were deep enough into the woods, Christa turned on her. She accused Colleen of trying to steal Daryl from her. Colleen denied it, of course, but by then she was starting to realize this wasn't about getting high. It was a setup. Before they'd even left the dorms, Christa and Daryl had armed themselves, a box cutter and a small meat cleaver. Shadola was there too, but she wasn't part of the attack. She stayed back, acting as a lookout, while the other two went forward with their plan. Then it started. Christa lunged at Colleen, slammed her to the ground, and just started beating her, kicking, punching, over and over. Colleen begged for her life, cried out, pleaded, but Christa didn't stop. And when she finally did, maybe just out of exhaustion, Colleen somehow managed to get up and try to run. She tried more than once. First time, Christa slashed her back. Tadero caught her, pinned her down, and Christa cut into her stomach. Colleen kept begging, kept trying to talk to him, and Christa told her to shut up. Said it was harder to hurt someone when they were talking to you. But the more Colleen spoke, the more Christa kicked her in the face. Then Christa went for her throat, and still, somehow, Colleen sat up again, still begging, still trying to escape. She tried to run one last time, and that's when Christa threw a rock and hit her in the back of the head. Tadero joined in, throwing rocks too. Later, Christa described the sounds Colleen was making. The medical examiner said she was drowning in her own blood. After that, Tadero took the box cutter and carved a pentagram into Colleen's chest. And the worst part? She was still alive when he did it. She felt every cut. Colleen suffered for nearly an hour. Then Christa picked up a chunk of broken asphalt and beat her in the head until she was gone. Shadola was still on lookout. Once it was over, Christa and Tadero dragged Colleen's body deeper into the woods, laid her on a mound of dirt, and just left her there. But not before Christa took a piece of Colleen's skull, put it in her jacket pocket like it was some kind of trophy. They took her ID and gloves, smeared mud on their clothes to hide the blood, and walked to a gas station to dump the evidence. Then they went back to the dorms like nothing had even happened. That whole thing took 2 hours. And when Christa got back, she went to visit the same friend she'd told earlier that she was feeling mean. But now, she wasn't mean. She was giddy, dancing around the room like a kid in a candy store. She even bragged about what she'd done and showed off the piece of skull she'd kept. I mean, it's like coming home from vacation and showing off your souvenirs. The next morning, Friday the 13th, no less, a university employee stumbled across Colleen's body. It had only been about 12 hours since the attack. Knoxville police and campus security showed up around 8 a.m., but the scene was so brutal, so disfigured, they couldn't even tell what they were looking at first. Colleen's face was that mutilated. And Christa, she didn't exactly cover her tracks. Not only has she bragged about the murder to a friend, she actually tried to go back to the crime scene the very next day, like she wanted to revisit it. But police had already cordoned off the area and wouldn't let her in. And here's where it gets even more bizarre. Christa left her jacket, the one that had the piece of skull still tucked in the pocket, inside an administrator's coat on campus. That jacket got turned over to police, and once they found the skull fragment, it didn't take long. Within 36 hours, Christa Pike, Tadero Ship, and Shadola Peterson were all arrested. Christa was the first to talk. She waived her right to remain silent and confessed. Straight up admitted she was responsible for Colleen's death. Her confession, 42 pages long. She even took investigators back to the gas station where they had dumped Colleen's ID and gloves, and when they searched Tadero's dorm room, they found a satanic Bible. Her trial started on March the 2nd of 1996. Christa cried through the whole thing, but the jury wasn't moved. It only took them a few hours to come back with a guilty verdict. First-degree murder. And with that, Christa Pike became the youngest woman in the U.S. to be sentenced to death. She was just 20 years old. Tadero got life with the possibility of parole. Shadola, who had cooperated with authorities, was given probation after pleading guilty to be an accessory after the fact. But Christa's violence didn't stop there, y'all. 5 years into her sentence, in 2001, she tried to kill again, this time inside the prison. She nearly strangled another inmate to death, and in a phone call to her mom after that, she didn't hold back. She said, "I bet you if she gets near me, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to succeed this damn time." See, now I want to know the difference between premeditated murder and what happened with Colleen. Because, see, I premeditated the hell out of this. Sure did. If I'd had 30 more seconds, we'd have a little chalk line out there in our rec room. Or rec pen. Because this is in prison. And that bitch would be gone somewhere. That call, it wasn't just chilling. It was confirmation. Christa hadn't changed. If anything, she had doubled down. So after Christa tried to kill another inmate in prison, she was put on trial again, this time for attempted first-degree murder, and yeah, she was found guilty. That charge got tacked onto her existing death sentence. Now, her defense team tried to argue that she shouldn't be executed. They pushed for life in prison instead, saying it would be unconstitutional to put her to death because of her mental health. And according to them, Christa's mental illness stemmed from the abuse she'd suffered as a child. They even brought in a neurology expert who testified that her brain had underdeveloped frontal lobes, the part that helps you understand right from wrong. Supposedly, that damage happened because her mom drank while she was pregnant. First, the appeals courts didn't budge. Or I should say, they didn't budge. I don't know where first came from, because they didn't budge. They upheld the original ruling and sent Christa right back to death row. And she's burned through all of her appeals. Gosh, I can't talk. She's burned through all of her appeals at this point. But even now, she insists she shouldn't be executed. But on October the 3rd of this year, it was announced that an execution date for Christa had been set for September the 30th, 2026. The warden has until August the 28th to inform her of the method of execution. Now, Tennessee normally goes with lethal injection, and even though electrocution is an outdated method, it's still authorized as an alternative method that inmates can choose if they committed a capital offense before January 1st, 1999, and Christa does fit into that time frame. Now, if things go as planned, she will be the state of Tennessee's first woman put to death. I will come back and update if anything changes with her execution date, or if she gets her sentence commuted like by the governor or anything like that. So yes, there will be updates if anything changes. Well, y'all, that's it for tonight's episode of Bloodshed and Breadcrumbs. Come back next week for the final episode of this season. And also be sure to check out the links in tonight's episode description and come give me a follow on Facebook and TikTok. Y'all have a great night.